Hello. I'm Trent, aka oTradeMark, and today I have for you guys. That didn't work. I have for you guys the damage rankings. The long awaited. The one and only. DPS rankings. Huge shout out again to JC for helping me out with all the testing. I really appreciate it. This time around we actually left auto clicker on. So the auto clicker game pass is on, but since it is consistent, it should still be fully accurate. And the reason why we left it on is because most of the time I feel like you're going to be clicking when you're attacking an enemy, whether that's with a software auto clicker like OP auto clicker, GS auto clicker, whether that's with the auto clicker game pass, or whether you're just tapping on your device. Like for the majority of the time, even like tiny tasks, you can set up your auto clicker with tiny tasks. So for the majority of the times when you're farming, you should have click damage, and so we consider the click damage in the testing to be a little bit more relevant on the damage rankings. And what that should do is that the characters that have a higher base damage but a lower ult value, they should move up slightly in the rankings. Not a lot, but enough. So let's go ahead and kind of talk about these rankings. So the first thing you'll probably notice is that a lot of the characters are actually missing. I made a mistake and I leveled my God Kirito and my Mugetsus prior to recording at level 115. So if any of you that are watching this video actually have a shiny crafted character, any of these 6 right here, then send me a message on Discord if you'd be willing to help out. I need the unit at level 115. So if you've already leveled it past 115, or if it's well below 115, I need it at 115 basically to do the test. But if you'd like to help out with that, just send me a message on Discord. What I have done though over here in this area is that because I have all the crafted time to kills, basically what I did is I took the ratio between, like, let's say a character that I have both the normal and the shiny version of, like Deku and Gojo. What I did is, Gojo, not that Gojo, Gojo purple. But I took the ratio between someone like Deku and Eren, right? And then I multiplied that ratio by Deku 100% shiny to get an estimate of what these characters' timings would be. Now, again, to be very, very clear, these are 100% estimates. So they might be off by 1 second, maybe even a couple seconds, but they should, for the most part, be semi-relevant. So I'm going to kind of include and sort by these rankings included. So you'll also notice that all the shiny secrets are missing. That's because just the vast majority of players are not going to have shiny secrets. You might as well, unless you were like one of the lucky ones who got shiny Sukuna during the bug, or you just got extremely lucky by getting one normally, then yeah, it's just nearly impossible for me to test. And if I did have a shiny secret, I would be leveling it, so it would be hard for me to test at the levels I need to test at anyways. But as a rule of thumb, shiny secrets are the best units in the game. I would say that down to about Hawks or Doflamingo are going to be where you're going to start having overlap. So I imagine that Hawks or Doflamingo at their shiny versions are probably somewhere in the mix of the shiny crafted. So take that for what it's worth. If you have a very low level shiny secret like a Boo or Nagato or like a Dio, then it's probably not worth leveling. In fact, just because it's going to be so expensive to level, that is probably better just to go for a shiny crafted, unless you're just Like that's like your only good unit, and you got super lucky at the start. But let's talk about some of the crossover between the units. So as you'll see, the shiny crafted are kind of like the now S tier units of the game. They're still very difficult to acquire because you need 5 shiny mythics from each world just to get these. So in some situations, it might even be worth it to not actually craft this. Like, just an example here. Oh, that's interesting. I just noticed that Shiny Stark beat out Shiny Gojo on this time to kill test. But let's say that you got 4 shiny Starks, right? And those are the best units that you have. Well, it might be worth it to just leave the shiny Starks as they are and not craft shiny Mugetsu, because even though shiny Mugetsu is really good, getting this damage boost up to shiny Mugetsu might not be worth it unless you have good units to replace your other 3 Starks with that you're going to fuse, or your other 4 Starks that you're going to fuse into. So a lot of people are going to look at this list and they're going to say like, I get this question all the time. Like, should I go for Eto or Adult Gon? Or should I go for Aizen or this character, right? Aizen or Deku 100%, the shiny. The thing is, when these characters are so close like this, it's usually not worth it. Like, if you already have an Eto, and that's like your worst character is Eto, and you want to replace it, don't replace it with an Adult Gon, okay? It's not worth it to just jump up 1 level right here. I would say it's not even really worth it to jump up to like an Aizen. Instead, just keep that Eto, level it up, farm with it, and what you're looking for primarily is that you want to start opening in the higher worlds, okay? This is the advice that I give to like everyone, because I see this all the time. Is someone will be like, oh, I have 50 billion. Should I go for, what secret should I go for, right? And yeah, while you could go for like a Dio or a Doflamingo, the problem is you're going to spend so much time opening to try and get a secret, right? Like on average, depending on your luck value, it's hundreds of thousands of stars to open, okay? And I'm going to be posting a video and an infographic soon that kind of shows the probability of getting a secret in each world at different luck values. But the thing is, you might spend several days opening to try and get one of these lower world secrets, right? And in that time, you could have been opening Jujutsu Kaisen, you could have been opening in Bleach, you could have been opening in one of these higher worlds. And even if you didn't get a secret or a shiny mythic from those worlds, you could have been dumping all of the stars that you're opening as XP into your best units. And I try and emphasize this in all of my streams, that the majority of your damage is going to come from those levels, okay? Like you could have like the worst, you could have something like literally like a Goku UI, regular crafted, and if this was level 140, it would destroy any unit that's like 130 or 125 or something, right? So just those 10 levels, even if it's into a unit like a regular mythic even, is gonna still destroy a unit like a Sukuna, like an Alice. Plus, not only that, if you dump the same amount of XP into a crafted versus a shiny crafted, it takes nearly twice the amount of XP. Well, I'm not sure if it's exactly twice, but it takes considerably more XP to actually level up the shiny crafted. And so you're naturally going to have that XP difference and that damage difference there. So, going back to the advice, I would recommend that everyone open in the highest world that you have open. And if you don't have Jujutsu Kaisen open, then grind as hard as you can. Start saving yen. Don't save yen and spend it on trying to get secrets from lower worlds. Grind all the yen you can, unlock Jujutsu as fast as you possibly can, because that's where you're going to benefit the most. Let's go ahead and talk about some interesting findings within the rankings themselves. So Gojo Purple is better than Mugetsu, and these are kind of the two premier units in the game right now, the shiny versions of these two. Sukuna's really strong secret. He's the best secret in the game. And if we actually, let's just look at a couple of the ranking, or a couple of the rarities individually. So if we look at secrets alone, right, you can see that Sukuna is nearly twice as good as Boo, okay? So I never recommend people, even if you're brand new to the game, of going for like opening for a significant period of time for like Nagato or Boo. It's just not worth it to get these lower world secrets. The earliest secret that I would actually go for is probably Eto. And even then, if you're going to be spending the time to open in Tokyo Ghoul, probably just want to push up to Jujutsu Kaisen or Bleach. Unfortunately, Aizen still needs a buff a bit. He's still weaker than Alice. So Aizen's not great, but getting Stark, who's one of the best, Shiny Stark, who's one of the best units in the game. So yeah, if we add these back in here. So like, yeah, Shiny Stark, incredible. Like he's nearly as strong as Sukuna, okay? So really good unit right here. If you get a Shiny Stark and you don't have a ton of yen, you don't have a ton of, if you get multiple, it might be worth it to just hang on to those and level up your Shiny Starks instead of actually instead of crafting them into Shiny Mugetsu. Alice is another, really good unit who's kind of above her pay grade right here. She's performing really well. She also got a buff in 8.0. Aizen got a buff and then immediately got a nerf, so I'm not sure. Aizen's in a bad spot still. Wouldn't go for him. Let's talk about some of the ones from my last rankings that Killua. So even after Killua's nerf, or excuse me, even after Killua's buff, he's still quite weak. Okay, shiny Killua is a little bit better. Godspeed, he's a little bit better. He's like the same strength as like Sukuna, which was a bit surprising to me. I guess this must be his base damage that's really making up the ground here, because normal crafted Killua is actually worse than like, you'll notice here, he's worse than like Zenitsu and Chariot, and a lot of the crafted are better than him. So keep in mind that as you get the shiny versions and as you level them up, the base damage is going to make a more significant difference. In other words, if we tested these exact same tests at like level 135, or let's just be extreme, let's say max level 150, the base damage of Killua is probably going to move him up quite a few spots. I'm not sure if he'd go all the way above Eren, but he's going to move up because the auto clicks and the damage, really what holds Killua back is his ult. So if you improve the damage that he's doing in between from his base attacks and his auto click damage, then he's going to have more of an advantage against the lower world characters. There's going to be, that gap's going to be lessened a bit, if not surpassed. Now, like as far as some of the, there's actually a lot of really good shiny mythics in the game that you could go for. Shiny Heathcliff is still performing well above his pay grade. He's a great character to get. Adult Gon didn't get a buff in 8.0, but he's still like a solid character. And so like a lot of people will look at this list and they'll be, here's like a standout, right? Chariot Requiem. Shiny Chariot is better than a lot of secrets, right? Like he's better than Aizen right now. And so a lot of people will see that and be like, ooh, I'm gonna go get 5 shiny Jotaros and craft shiny Requiem. The problem, or Requiem. The problem is if you do that, you're going to be spending a lot of time in JoJo's opening to get those 5 shiny mythics. So yeah, he's a really strong character compared to his world right now. And if you absolutely like if you've just gotten lucky, let's say that you've been going for Dio, and you already have 3 to 4 shiny Jotaros, then it might be worth it to get your 5th and craft this. But if you're not, like let's say you have 0 shiny Jotaros, well then I wouldn't recommend going for him, even though he's got really good damage compared to the world acquisition, right? Zenitsu is still really weak even after the... Oh no, he didn't get a buff actually, so he's still just trash. I would never go for Zenitsu or shiny Zenitsu. Luffy is... He's not great. Again, like in these situations, unless you already had just like many shiny Mihawks, I wouldn't actually go for Luffy, because you know, again, you could just at a lower world you get Chariot and he's better in every situation from a lower world. Or you could go, you know, for something like Kaneki, who's from World 8. And this might actually be a little... He's probably actually closer to like 40, now that I think about it. He might even be like 41. But, yeah, so going back down here to these mid-tier level, another option that you guys can do that's a really good option is right here. Because Mythics have a guaranteed pity amount, and so you can get 3 regular Gojos relatively easy. Gojo Purple, the normal crafted unit, is a great investment right now, okay? This is probably one of the best investments in the game right now, because not only are you opening Jujutsu Kaisen and you're leveling up your units while you're going for them, the second that you have 3 and you have enough raid shards, you craft this. This is basically like giving you an Eto in the game, right? So it's much more efficient to use all of your yen going for Gojo Purple than it is to like open for 2 to 3 days for Eto. Because even though Eto's stronger, you're losing out on all of the XP again to go for Eto instead of like opening Jujutsu. So even if you like, let's say that you want to AFK open. If you can't AFK open Jujutsu or Bleach, I would actually just AFK farm instead. Set up your tiny task to farm a boss rather than farming, you know, or AFK opening and trying to AFK open for like a secret which you very well might not get. You know, you could open for days in a row straight AFK opening and not get one of these lower world secrets. Instead doing that, just AFK farm during the night, and then during the day AFK open for one of the higher worlds, Jujutsu Kaisen or something. Okay. So anyways, you know, I'll put the full comparison here so you guys can kind of check this out. As far as the regular Mythics are concerned, there's not too many standouts here. Okay. The regular Mythics, obviously, Stark and Gojo are at the top. Heathcliff performs above what he should. So these 3 are still really strong, which just kind of emphasizes my point that you should be opening in one of these top 3 worlds. If you're not opening in SAO or higher, you're doing it wrong. Unless you're just trying to collect your favorite character, which is totally cool if you want to go for your favorite character. But if you're just trying to maximize be efficient and maximize your yen and your damage that you get from your yen, then definitely open from one of the top 3 worlds. Something like Shiny Goku, as an example, is a really awesome looking unit. I think he's, you know, one of my favorite character designs in the game, but he's just very weak. You know, you can literally just go get a shiny All Might, one of them, instead of getting 5 shiny Piccolos, and you have a character that's the same strength. So not really worth it to get him unless you just like him. Some of the lower world crafteds, I would say it's probably, if you already have the shards, so like let's say that you already have Hero Academy shards and you already have a couple All Mights, like you could craft Deku, because you notice All Might to Deku is quite a big damage buff, but like Deku is not a great character overall. He's going to be outpaced relatively quickly as you find some of these other shiny Mythics and stuff. So it's a good investment if you come across it naturally. Like if you naturally have some of these lower Mythic characters and you want to, craft a normal raid character, that's fine. especially if it's someone like Kaneki or above, because like Kaneki and Kirito are basically like, look at this, they're like, Kaneki, the normal crafted is like the same tier as like a low grade secret. So this is a good investment if you already have some Arimas laying around, or if you had some Heathcliffs laying around. This is a pretty good investment. But actually going for these low world secrets or going back and trying to get some of these low world mythics is probably not worth it as long as you have the yen to go for the higher stuff. So anyways, this was pretty interesting stuff. If you guys do have these these characters and you want to help me fill these rows in, that would be great. Otherwise, I will let you guys just kind of look over the results and post in the comments what you think, what is your favorite character, and if there were any surprises to you that you saw when you saw this list. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. Peace, I'm out of here.